Hello, this is Gavin Phillips with Photographer's Photoshop, and what I'm going to be showing you today is how to create authentic hand-painted portraits using only Photoshop and our custom art history brushes. Now this works from version 7 of Photoshop all the way through CS5 and onwards. So what I've got is my portrait open here. I'm going to duplicate the background layer, Control or Command J, and now I'm going to put on an empty layer and fill it with white. Now I'm going to go to my art history brush, and I've already loaded in our custom brushes. We do have a free brush for you to try off of the website. And I'm going to select one of those brushes, make it a little bit bigger, and start painting. Now, I'm just using my mouse. I'm not using a tablet or any special software. It would be a little bit easier with a tablet, but you don't need it to do this. And all I'm doing is dragging through the image. What I want to do first is get my outline and the background. Obviously the hat's coming in here. I'm just holding the mouse down, dragging through. We don't have to worry about getting too much detail at this point because I'm going to show you how to bring in detail in a few minutes here. So as you can see, this is something that anybody can pick up and use. This is not really complicated with, really complicated brush settings and everything. No, I show you exactly how this works. We have several movie tutorials that show you step by step how to do all this. So the eyes are starting to come in here, and like I said, I'm not worried about it, the detail right now. I'm going to change the brush settings a little bit once I know where everything is in my portrait. So what we're going to do is we're going to move forward a few minutes here in this tutorial once I've got the rest of this filled in, because this is pretty much the same thing. And then I'm going to show you how to work on the eyes, nose and mouth. So here we are. I've filled out the rest of the face here using that same technique. Now the important areas of the eyes, nose and mouth, we're just going to change the settings of the brush. We're using the same brush, but we need to change it to tight short to bring in the detail. And we also need to change the size of the brush to something smaller, around 40. Let's zoom into the eye here and let's start painting away. And what you'll see is, if I want it a bit smaller, I'll go down to 30, and you can start bringing in detail. The smaller the brush, the more detail you're going to bring in. Now I'm taking my finger off the mouse. I'm not holding it down for long periods of time, but you can repaint areas if it doesn't come the way that you like it. And if there's too much detail, you can just increase the size of the brush or go to type medium. So there's a lot of ways to control this. And the eyes and these fine detail areas is where you're going to spend most of your time. The background, the hat in this case, is really not going to take long at all because I just use tight long for that. Now I'm going to increase the size of the brush a little bit. Now I'm just doing some broader strokes using that slightly larger setting of the brush. I don't want too much detail in everywhere. It's entirely up to you, of course. You're the artist. You decide what you want to do. And if you don't like anything, you can just paint it away by repainting over that area. So there we go. We've got one eye done. What I'm going to do now is, and I'll probably go back over these darker areas here to kind of blend them in. I'm just going to show you the mouth because that's another area that needs detail brought into it. And I'm going to jump to the smaller brush here and start painting in. You can see that I'm getting the detail in there between the teeth and the lips. Might do a little bit of a larger brush. You can increase or decrease the size of your brush very quickly by using the brackets keys on your keyboard. That's a shortcut for you. Just cleaning it up here across the edges. And now I'm going to zoom in and do the other eye here. So I think you see you're just basically jumping between tight, short, tight, medium for these detailed areas. And then you fill out the rest of the background. I normally use the tight long, which is the original setting of the brush. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Just come around this eye here, bringing in these other areas. Now this works of course on any kind of photograph. You can be using pets, any kind of animal. It works great. It's actually easier with animals and with landscapes than it is with people, because there's a lot of different nuances in the human face that you're not going to have with, say, a cat or a dog. And the tone and the texture of the face, you know, is very different too, of course. So I'm going to repaint over that. There we go. One smooth stroke around. So I think you can see we're not going to go through the whole thing. We're coming up to a good point here where we can see how everything's coming together. The final thing you're going to do here is to lighten the image. And there's couple of things actually. Lightening the image, I usually use curves. It normally needs lightening. Now, not that much, of course, but it's going to depend on your computer monitor, how things print from your computer. I'm going to leave this off for the moment, and what I'm going to do is duplicate the image just to show you how I put a canvas on here, a digital canvas. Now, if you're printing this on art paper or canvas itself, then you don't have to do this extra step. But we have included this texturizer, a custom texture for you. This is one of the textures that is a default with Photoshop. Of course, you have a few here. But we've included a custom texture for you. You just click on this little button and you're going to get a load texture. And you can go up to the painted set. We have like I said, custom texture here. Double click on that, and that's going to load in that custom texture. Depending on how much texture you want, you can increase that by using a combination of these two sliders here. You can see quite a bit of textures coming through now, and we'll click OK, and you can see how that texture is showing through. If we turn this eye off, see how that's made a difference. Of course, you're in control of that. You can even lower the opacity of this layer to, you know, if too much texture came through. So now we're going to move on to what the actions do for you. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that image and show you what the actions can do for you. An action is a set of pre-recorded steps in Photoshop that you can run those same steps by just clicking a button. So we've gone through all the trial and error, and all you do is click a button, so you get all these actions as well, and these create painterly effects very quickly. You'll see the result here. I'm just selected the action, press the play button, it duplicates the image, runs through about 15 or 20 steps in Photoshop, and then what it's telling you here is, once again, if you want to add the custom texture, you don't have to, of course. You can just press stop, but a lot of times you may want to do this. I'll show you what the difference is. This is texture that ships with Photoshop, but we're going to go to that same custom texture and load that in, and you can see quite a big difference there. Once again, if it's a bit too harsh on the photograph, you can change that by manipulating these settings here. Click OK, and in a few seconds you've got a painterly look, but it's not the same authentic kind of painted look as we got using the custom brushes, but it only takes a few seconds, so you've kind of got both ways to go there. There are other different kinds of effects here with these actions. Photocopy creates a pretty cool kind of cross between a photocopy and a sketch. Once again, we're letting you know about ways to kind of manipulate it in the layers palette. We don't flatten the image. There are ways for you to, you know, increase the opacity of this layer. You know, you can manipulate manipulate these layers. So there's a lot of ways to customize the look of the image once the action is finished. And as I said, that's all included in the set as well. So let's take a look at another one of these actions, see what it can do for you. This color art is very popular with my clients. Once again, just run the action. It's letting you know here about the settings that are recommended in the next dialog box. Click continue. You can change these settings or leave them as I was around 28. Click OK. It will continue, and go into the layers palette and make changes here. Of course, as we showed you before, there are many ways to go to customize these images to get them exactly the way that you like them. Let's minimize that one. So if you'd like to visit our website to pick up a free custom Photoshop art history brush and a Photoshop action, it's www.photoeffects.biz. My name is Gavin Phillips, gavin@photoeffects.biz. And if you decide to purchase the set, we're giving you a special extra 20% discount on top of any sales that are going on, and there is one going on at the moment. When you purchase the set, use coupon code YouTube on the checkout page, and you'll get an additional 20% off there. The offer does end soon. My name is Gavin Phillips, gavin@photoeffects.biz. Thank you.